What's poppin', everybody? This is the cartoon kid Ray Rawlins, and today, for the second day of the 25 Days of Halloween Cartoons Marathon, we're going back to the Simpsons like we did in the Halloween, but this time a little spoiler. It's not going to be as bad, man. This obviously is a little bit better than the Halloween episodes. We're reviewing season one, weirdly enough, episode one of the Simpsons, their Christmas special called The Simpsons Roasting. Now, normally I would say, Alex Payne, give us the episode breakdown. But because this is a series that he doesn't like, I'm going to give you guys the episode breakdown. So, obviously, with this being the first episode of The Simpsons, we get introduced to the family, Homer, Bart, all the regular Simpsons characters. And basically, it revolves around them trying to have a good Christmas. Now, the main premise of the story is Marge, obviously, has a jar of money saved up for Christmas. And, she kind of banks a little bit on Homer's Christmas bonus from the power plant. But Mr. Burns had to cut back, the Christmas bonus to help out with some other things. I think it's like safety concerns and whatnot at the power plant. So Homer doesn't end up getting his Christmas bonus. And Bart clowns around and ends up getting a tattoo thinking that Marge would like it. So, what happens? Marge basically has to go spend that money in the jar on Bart's tattoo removal. So the family's out of Christmas money. So what the hell they gonna do? Homer don't know, but he basically tries to get a part-time job as a Santa at the mall. Bart ends up being one of the kids there, pulls off his beard, trying to see if Santa's real and whatnot. So Homer basically tells Bart, yo, man, I ain't got my Christmas bonus, right? So this basically leads to them not knowing what to do. Homer's sitting at the bar, obviously trying to think about how to get his family to have a good Christmas. Barney basically tells him, yo, that's where he tells him about the Santa job. And he runs into Barney at the mall. And Barney's like, yo, man, nice $13. We're going to go to the dog track to bet on the dog, see if we can get some money from it. Homer's kind of like on the fence about it, but he's like, nah, man, screw it. Christmas miracles, Bart tells him. So they go and they bet on a dog. They bet on a dog named Santa's Little Helper, which if anybody who's been a longtime fan of The Simpsons knows, that's the family's pet dog. So Homer ends up losing the money, obviously, but he ends up keeping the dog because he feels like he belongs part of the family. He's losers basically just like them, and he comes into the house with Santa's Little Helper, and basically that's the family's Christmas gift. That's how he ends up making sure the family has a good Christmas. So, Mr. Alex Payne, what do you think of this episode?
You mean, what is my first impression?
Of course.
Just clarifying, good sir. My first impression of this episode is two first impressions. Number one, the sound quality and mixing is terrible.
Right, yeah. Yeah,
sometimes the music was way too loud.
That's how I felt too.
And all that should have been. The audio quality and the mixing was terrible.
Right.
It wasn't
but
like
it was. I will
terrible.
give him a break. You got to give him a break though. This is back in the 1990s. Shit obviously improved from way back then, but I give him a little break on that. Although I will say, and I do agree, that was definitely one of the biggest standing out things to me. But continue. What is your first impression?
My second first impression was Homer's mouth stubble thing was way darker in this episode than it usually is.
Yeah, and see, you know what, with the Halloween episodes, I think we only saw one from that. Or I don't think because there was none in the first season. So they were probably just getting their bearings and whatnot. And this obviously was the first episode of the entire series, which honestly I didn't know. And they published that, I want to say, back in 1989, probably early 1990s. So it's kind of crazy, man. They obviously probably changed some things by when we started watching with season 2 and we saw the first Halloween episode. But my first impression is, Homer, for one, has gotten a lot dumber over the 31 Simpson seasons. Because, granted, he's not the smartest dad in the world or the smartest person in the series. But he has a lot of more brain cells in episode 1 of the series than he does in freaking episode probably 31, or probably episode season 2. So it's just like, man, Homer, completely dumbed down, complete idiot. And I gotta say too, Homer was a straight up gangster. He straight up stole some dude's tree. This dude was, listen, he said, I'm gonna make sure my family has a Christmas tree. Straight up goes out, steals a dude's tree, and the motherfucker starts busting at him. Bah, bah, bah. Pull out the gun, start busting at him. Homer brings the tree to the house. Like, oh, what do you guys think about it? And Marge's sisters are like, I smell gunpowder. Yeah, Homer was not playing. He got that tree. He got up out of there. He got to the crib, yo. I gotta say, yo, Homer, big props to you, bro. Straight up, big salute. Making sure your family has a good Christmas. Let's hop into the moments though. What are some of your favorite moments of this episode?
Honestly, I don't really have any. I feel like the episode in general was kind of meh, so that not much really stuck out. Well, actually, I'll mention this when Homer was talking on the phone to the Marge's sister. That was funny to me. So that's my moment I'm mentioning.
That's crazy. Like out of the whole episode, that's the one moment you pick out of there. But
Yeah.
it's just like I will say, yeah, it's kind of tell the sisters don't like Homer. It's like, oh, Marge, please, who is this? Put Marge on the phone. Listen, they ain't trying to talk to Homer, and it's kind of fucked up too to kind of coincide with that. Like Lisa, she goes on to give this whole speech about how they should like not badmouth Homer and anything like that, and nice, eloquently put together speech. And there was, I think it was Selma. She was like, yeah, just watch your cartoon, dear. Like, you stupid bitch. I want to bop, bop, just motherfucker punch her ass in the face. It's like, damn, I get Homer ain't perfect, but damn, man. This dude out here almost got his head blown off trying to make sure his family got a good Christmas still in the tree. But I will say this, to see Homer, like, man, when he had to admit to Marge that he didn't have his Christmas bonus, is like, ooh, how is he going to do this one? And Homer, like I said, I'm used to Homer being a dumbass, but he basically played it off and, he ended up losing all the family's money, or the $13 he made at the being a little mall Santa at the track, and he ended up getting them Santa's little helper, man. That dog is epic, man. That's one of the family's main pets. They got the cat too, for Lisa. But it's just like, man, Homer just basically prevailed at the end. Like, and I feel like that's an episode you won't get in like the modern day Simpsons, That's the main thing that stuck out to me. Like, that was the big redemption of this whole thing. And I obviously mentioned the whole tree and the gun thing. So I say that's my main moments. I gotta mention too, when they're up at the recital or whatever you want to call it, Bart's singing and whatnot. They're singing Jingle Bells. Obviously, going off cue. Principal basically grabbed his ass. He's like, this motherfucker just yanked his ass up out of there, screaming like a little bitch. But yeah, that's pretty much it for my moments. Let's get into reviews. What do you think of this episode? What is your final review?
I thought the episode was okay, Like I said, the mixing was very terrible, and it felt weird, like in terms of the music and everything. It felt sickeningly Christmassy, if that makes any sense.
I guess hey, shit, that's how it's supposed to feel, I suppose. But you feel like they overdid it, huh?
Yeah. Like, I felt like there was like Christmas music in every scene and all this. It basically, it sounded to me, in terms of the way it was presented, the music, the lines, the character. It basically felt like a soap opera to me in a way. Or
Okay.
Or more like, well, actually, that's it. Okay, this felt like an episode of Full House or some shit. Like,
I could agree though. Yeah.
like, that's the best way I could describe it. Like some lovey-dovey family, like show. And I don't mean like, oh, we're dysfunctional, but we deal with it type. I mean like friggin', like I said, like Full House, sickeningly sweet, very Christmassy, but in a bad way. Well,
Right.
it's so. I mean, I'm not saying the episode is bad. It just was really kind of weird to me.
Okay.
It had some interesting moments in there, and the episode was written moderately well, I suppose. And his think Homer's character had like some nice intent and everything.
Yeah,
Even though he
I
had
think that's the biggest redeeming quality of this episode. If you be honest with me, that's the biggest like one big redeemer. Like Homer, You can see calling the motherfucking alcoholic dad later on in the series, but in this episode, man, he really shines. He motherfucking really prevails, man. But continue.
But yeah, so that's pretty much it for my review. My rating for this episode, I give it a nice 6.
Okay, honestly, that's better than that's way better than I thought you'd give it. But I will say though too, with it being the first episode, like I said, obviously, you see the Simpsons today, audio quality improved drastically. Um, I won't sit there and like super knock them because that's like that was put out in like the early 1990s before I was even born. So that I was I wasn't even in my parents' mind. I probably wasn't even in my dad's nutsack then. But I will tell you this though, um, that was their first episode, and I'm not gonna knock them too hard for the audio quality, although I should. But overall, like you said, the story was mildly all right. It did feel too Christmassy now that you bring that up. Like they felt like they were trying to overdo it, but I don't know, man. Like for me, and maybe it's my bias of the series. 'Cause I've been a lifelong Simpsons fan. I just really haven't been in the series recently. But I will say though, this was a pretty decent episode, especially just to like show it off. You want to have the people think like, oh yeah, man, this is gonna be a good series, man. The family, you see the dad triumphant prevail, even though he loses monetarily at the dog track. He basically got the dog, man, and he basically picked up the dog and brought it home, and still made sure the family had a decent Christmas despite everything that happened, like him not getting his bonus, Marge losing all the money in the jar for Bart to get his tattoo removed. And then even him trying to lose money at the dog track, he still got a good gift for his family, and it still pays off for him. And I think too, it's like another slap in the face to Marge's motherfucking bogus ass sister's always down on the dude, man. It's like, oh man, ha, bitch. I thought my kids loved the gift I gave them. They love Santa's little helper, and that's how they introduce one of the mainstays of the series, their dog. So, which is pretty cool. Like I said, the biggest thing that stood out to me is like Homer's character. Like, if you watch all the way up to, I say maybe I watched up to season 17, probably a little bit more than that. It's like Homer, he's not as smart as he was in this episode. Like they dumbed him down over the seasons. It's like Homer really tried to be a good dad in this episode. He doesn't like Christmas like that, but he still tried to like it for his kids, and he still tried to do something good for them. So, which is cool to me. So, um, it's not the best episode of the series. It felt like it was too Christmassy to me too, like you said. So I'm gonna hit it with a nice 6.5. Overall, it's not terrible, honestly. I really enjoyed it. Um, if you ain't got anything more to add, we're gonna bring it out here.
Nope.
Okay. Well, there y'all have it, man. I am the cartoon kid Ray Rawlins, and I'm joined by Alex Payne. This has been day 2 of the 25 days of Christmas cartoons. This has been our review of season 1, episode 1 of The Simpsons Roasting. Now, y'all know what it is, man. We talk cartoons, and we do it here daily on the Cartoon Kid channel. So tune back in for day 3 of this little marathon as we review what? I'm not too sure yet, but we will see you when we see you. Peace.